How to create a second and third upsell. In this lecture, we're going to learn how to recap as much profit as we can from the sales funnel, which is including a second and third upsell to the sales funnel. This is a bold move. Having too many upsells can upset a customer. They will feel annoyed as you bring them through a seamlessly ending sales loop. This is why having a second and third upsell requires method to the art. A few entrepreneurs tried it and it proved to be a great success. Now it's becoming more and more common. Many more are attracted to this method because of its huge impact. It's important to note that you can't do a second and third upsell willy-nilly. You need organization and proper planning. If you fail, you'll lose a whole lot of customers. If you succeed, there's big profit to be made. What is the second and third upsell? They're exactly what their name implies. The second upsell comes directly after the first upsell, while the third upsell is directly after the second one. The second upsell is, of course, of more value than the first, and the third upsell is the higher value of the second. The price for each product increases according to the levels. The purpose of having the first upsell is for the customer to buy a higher priced product in the first place. Having the second and third is exactly the same concept, but taking that method a little bit further. The inclusion of a second and third upsell is in the sales funnel is an act of stretching it to get as much profit as we can. Applying the same concept from the original upsell, the second and third upsell should be congruent with all of the products in the sales funnel, and most importantly, the front-end product. Without congruency, the sales funnel would throw the customer off. However, it is important to note here that what you're selling in the second and third upsell are additional tools that can provide them with great boost for their first product. They are not in any way missing parts of the product itself. Do not take something out of the main product that is a necessity, so that you can sell it later for a higher price. It is very unethical for a vendor to sell the product with missing parts. Your credibility will be affected, and so will your sales. So what should the second and third upsell be then, if they were not missing parts from your front-end product? First thing, that they should be congruent with the front-end product, but that alone is not enough to convince someone to purchase them. You as the vendor should find out what the customer needs after purchasing your front-end product. You as the vendor have to forecast a problem that the customer would encounter when using your product. Perhaps if the product is about creating a website, your upsell can be tools or software that they can use to create the website graphics. There are always things that the customers need after they've purchased the product. To know what they are, it's up to you. You have to do a little bit of research yourself, and for this, you have to depend on your skills and knowledge as an entrepreneur. However, that is the only basis of coming up with an upsell. You also need to add in bonuses to be included in the upsell. This is because you need to increase the value of the upsell deal, and it is more important to do it in the second and third upsell, where your value needs to be really high. Why do we need a second and third upsell? Isn't one upsell enough for a sales funnel? How many more should there be? Technically, one upsell is enough for your sales funnel if you're not aiming for a big profit. It's enough to complete a sales funnel if you want to complete it for the sake of completing it. But you can still profit from one upsell, of course. However, let's not forget that entrepreneurship is about pushing yourself to the limit and see how much profit you can reap. There is no reason to settle for mediocrity. There is no reason for you to pass on an opportunity like this. One of the reasons why a second and third upsell can sell is because of the buying trance. When a customer makes a purchase, they'll be in a buying trance, where it's easier for them to make more purchases than one. It's like when a person is in a mood for shopping in a shopping mall. By having multiple upsells, we're capitalizing on that emotion. It might seem unethical that I encourage you to take advantage of the buyer's vulnerable emotional state. However, the buying habit has changed nowadays. There was a time when people would have made a long and serious consideration before making a purchase, a product, especially in the internet. Nowadays, people purchase rather on a whim. This is because of the reliable refund policy that vendors have. These refund policies are like a safety net, and they are one of the biggest factors to why customers make a purchase in the first place. If they're not happy with the product, then they can just ask for their money back. The customer knows that they've got nothing to lose. But as the vendor, you want to avoid requests for a refund, so you need to offer them nothing but the best product. Now, before we derail even further, having a second and third upsell is pushing it to an extent. The key here is to know when to stop. Having a third upsell is enough. You can go ahead and push further for a fourth and fifth upsell, but they will not sell. Don't bring in the customer into the sales loop that goes on and on. It will upset them and your credibility as a product vendor will be tainted. Also, as mentioned, the second and third upsell are not missing parts from the original product, but instead a boost or extra tool to help. If you're selling a self-help product, for example, an ebook, it's very unlikely that one product will be sufficient. They would need extra tools too. Perhaps you can include an audio version of the book or the video version with slides. So an upsell is more than just an add-on. It's also a helping hand. The customers would really appreciate that gesture. Price and value of the second and third upsell. The price for the second and third upsells should be lower than $200. It shouldn't go any higher than that. The vendor has the freedom to set the price, so it's up to you. However, being lower than $200 is just a principle that you don't have to follow. But principles exist in general because they work. This price is chosen after years of experience and experimentation. It's safer to just stick with it. The price for each upsell should increase in each level. The upsell that comes after another upsell should be higher. So it is recommended for you to increase the price accordingly, but don't go over the $200 mark. Once you've increased the price, the value should follow. What you need is not only a valuable product, but you need to include bonuses in the deal as well. The product itself cannot sell for such a high price. You'd also need some bonuses to push the customers a little bit more to click on the buy button. Selling a product that might help is not enough anymore. You need all the bonuses so that the values will be increased and the chances of closing a sale are higher. Increasing value is not the only reason though. Remember, there is also a downsell that you should pay attention to. A downsell is where the same product is offered with a lower price. Now that wouldn't be fair for all of those who purchased the upsell for a higher price, right? So for a downsell, the price must go down and the value also must decrease. You can decrease the value by getting rid of the bonuses offered in the upsell. That way, it would be fair for people who purchased the upsell for an original price and also fair for the people who might be more interested in the product but discouraged about the price. That is the importance of bonuses. Not only do they increase the value, but they also provide a cushion should there be a downsell. Creating the upsell script. Now for an upsell to sell, it's not enough that you offer them with sales copy on the product page alone. There is an intricate method to pull off a good upsell offer. However, that is a whole different scope altogether, which is copywriting. But you need to know the basics first above all. Only when you have a grasp on the basics can you go on attempting selling valuable deals. First of all, you need to establish the reason for owning the upsell. What do these products do and how can they help the customer? Let's go back briefly to what these products are because this is an important aspect. Once again, these products are not missing parts of the front-end product. They are boosters or catalysts for customers to use the first product. So make the reason for owning this product clear. What can these upsells do for them? In the earlier part of the lecture, I mentioned that the people would need a helping hand, especially when your product is a self-help product. That could be the reason you can use when you're selling the product. Perhaps the product as an upsell can be sold as something only that those who are truly serious. Establish the difference between what they have and what is best. One technique you can always count on in making the sale is the scarcity factor. The scarcity factor is an advertising technique that the product is only available for a limited amount of time. For example, the offer is only available for 1 week, and after that the offer will expire. This creates a sense of urgency, and when the customers see that the deal is available for a short amount of time only, and if they're going to miss it, then they will miss it forever. Only then are they encouraged to make a purchase. The scarcity factor does magic when it comes to closing a sale. Usually, to put a little boost on this method, the sales page would incorporate a timer so that the people can see when the deal expires. With the timer running, the customer would feel compelled to make an immediate decision. With the scarcity factor plus the buying trance that they are after making a purchase, it is easier to close down a deal than ever. When you're selling something, it is more important than ever to have a call to action in your copywriting. The call to action culminates the whole sales pitch. If you are not familiar with the call to action, it is a part of the copy that convinces the customer to make a decision. For example, there's the get this product now or buy it now in almost every sales copy. The whole copy should be formed to a point that the call to action because the CTA is the final step in securing the sale. And finally, the second and third upsell idea. So what kind of product can we sell as a second and third upsell? Again, it's totally up to you, the vendor, to increase the value of the upsells. This can be done by including mega bonuses in the deal as well. But as recommended product to be sold as a second and third upsell would be a membership program. A membership program is where the customers pay to have access to exclusive content on the internet. It is similar to any other membership program that you can find on the internet, where members have to pay monthly to have access. Now, there are many advantages to selling a membership program. For one, it's a big ticket product and it costs a lot because it's exclusive. This means the access can be sold at a very high price. Secondly, a membership site can provide a passive yet steady income as each of its members have to pay monthly. It means that you'll be paid each month. All you have to do is just provide the content and have them ready every single month. Here's a little trick. You can get the content from PLR products. These are white label content that you can repackage and sell as your own. You can purchase these contents and repackage them to make monthly content. You can sell it for a much higher price than any other medium of content. In the next lecture, you'll learn about setting up a back-end offering.